guard him though.
Joker's 10-2 against Bam in their
Yeah,
careers. Just look
I
that
don't
up.
I don't
I
agree
mean-
with that, Bontemps. I don't think so, because I think you need one of the things that you need against Jokic is you need to worry about him as a rebounder, and you got to keep him to try to. He's so you can't stop him as a passer. There's no person you can put on him that has 6 arms and take away all the angles. So he's going to be a passer. You're going to have to worry about his teammates getting open. You're almost going to have to guard them and just accept what he can do as a passer.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep him off the freaking boards.
Well, also, like,
I don't know if Bam can do that.
Well, Bam has certainly been throwing the Celtics around left and right,
Well,
just like he did in the bubble when they
that's
beat the
not a
Celtics
question.
too.
That's absolutely correct. He has.
But the thing about, like, as we watch the series against the Lakers, obviously they haven't had enough success against Joker, but a lot of times when they have had the ability to slow him down a little bit, it's because AD is not the primary defender on him.
That's right.
And AD is able to help. He's able to clog up the paint, dominate at the rim. Although, how about last night when Joker hits this running hook over Rui, over AD, and Aaron Gordon told me, he's like, that just reaffirms that he can't be stopped. But my point is, I don't know if Bam matching up as the primary defender on Joker is the best. Obviously, you're going to throw a bunch of different looks at him. I don't know if that's.
Yeah, I don't think nobody's
ideal
stopping
look.
him anyway. Yeah.
Well, what's your choice? Like, Kevin Love is not an option.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they have to, but I'm saying that takes Bam out of basically doing all the, help defender type of stuff, because we've talked 100 times. Joker, like, he can be a point guard. He can dominate you from the elbow. He can take you down the block. He can just do every different thing, but he can drag you away from the rim and basically say, hey, okay, you're going to be the primary defender of me. You're not going to be helping out and, doing anything at the rim then.
I mean, to me, if I'm Miami going into that series, so let's start with them, right? Because we're talking about Bam guarding Jokic. Bam has the ability to stay with Jokic on the perimeter when Jokic is doing his dribble handoff stuff and trying to, handle the ball in a way that basically no other center in the league can. And he's strong enough to at least fight him on the boards. And the Heat, especially with Tyler Hero hurt, again, this is another place where no Tyler Hero is a massive advantage, I think, for Miami. They don't play bad defensive players. And you saw in the second half today when they went for the kill shot against Boston, Kevin Love just sat on the bench.
Duncan Robinson.
Well, Duncan Robinson is the one guy who is now in their rotation. But he's also coming off the bench, and they could kind of find spots to play him. But they're rolling out there. If they're rolling out there with Caleb Martin in the starting lineup, and they've got Caleb, Jimmy, Gabe Vincent, and Max Strus. Like, Max Strus is the worst defender out there, who's a 6'7" strong guy. To me, what they need to do is just guard up the 4 guys on Denver, because they can match up with all those guys, and then say, all right, like, if Jokic is going to go for 50, 60, whatever, like, do that and not allow Jamal and Michael Porter Jr. and KCP and those guys to go off for threes, because that's when Denver really starts cooking.
Well,
real simple. Just shut down Jamal Murray, the guy who scores 23 points.
But again, I mean, look,
real easy.
I'm not saying they're going to shut them down, but to me, like, when Denver is killing you is when Jokic, like you said, is setting up everybody else. That's when they're at their peak.
Because he's going to score too.
For as good as Jimmy's offense has been in terms of efficiency, he has been the defensive star of the postseason. Yeah. So, and obviously
he takes Murray, right?
Yeah, but they run Murray around and they do all these dribble handoffs.
I do not think he would be guarding. I do not think he'd be guarding. No, I think they put Gabe Vincent on him.
They create space for Murray all the time. I mean, now in some of these games in this series, he's had some isolations where he's just, created his own space and just fired off a shot. Right. And you got the Lakers looking back at him like, oh my God. But the thing about Bam that I think that could be important is one of the things that Bam can do that is extremely valuable is he can pull the ball off the board and he can take down the ball the other end and initiate the offense.
Kind of like Joker.
Yes.
For sure. But he's faster than Joker. So what I would say is one of the ways you can take advantage of Joker is to outrun him, which almost nobody's able to do. And so because he gets the freaking ball so much and they score so much, the number one offense in the postseason, they were the number two offense during the year. It's extremely effective for Jokic to be able to run back when the other team's taking the ball out of bounds. But I would say if you're Bam, if you can somehow win the rebound battle, and when you get those rebounds, take off and go initiate the offense and make them play in transition and make Jokic get back, I think you got a better shot there if you can do that as many times as possible. And Bam, he in game 2, he had 9 assists. I mean, he had 22, 17, and 9.
Among normal,
that's a nice quarter for Joker.
Well, again, among mortal centers, Bam is probably the best playmaker in the league. Again, because Jokic is in his own category.
Sabonis, but sure.
Yeah, I mean, when Bam is aggressive, when Bam is aggressive on offense, the Heat are a totally different team. You saw it in game 2. He had 8 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists in the fourth quarter. He was the one. As much as it was Jimmy, it was the Bam got him back in the game, and then Jimmy carried him over the finish line.
Right.
And then at the other end, it's going to be interesting to see. Aaron Gordon's 3-point shot has disappeared.
He didn't want to shoot him right now.
Right. So, and Spo is going to be saying, we're not guarding him. Christian Brown, same thing. His 3-point shot has been an issue.
Has Brown even been playing that much?
Not a whole lot. Malone's gotten, as they tend to do come this time of year, he's gotten tighter with that rotation, and Brown's the one getting squeezed.
But they've got some guys.
Jeff Green's 3-point shot. I'm sure they'll dare him to take threes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Bruce Brown is a guy who has obviously been a fantastic fit in Denver. Another guy who is a little streaky 3-point shooter. So I'm sure that they're going to be trying to dare those guys into shooting. But look, Jimmy has been tearing everybody apart in these playoffs who's come at him. Aaron Gordon is about as good of a matchup as you would think he could get, given how big and long and athletic Aaron Gordon is. So I do think that Denver has a pretty good option to at least try to slow him down.
You think Gordon's going to be the one who's going to be the primary? I mean, I'm sure he'll see time. I think KCP might be the primary.
Sure.
You know what KCP stands for? Rob Pelinka's finding this out. It stands for Keep Championship Players. That's what it stands for.
McMahon has been saving that one up all day.
So I told you I had a KCP joke for you.
I didn't know what it was going to be. But look, I mean, KCP is great too. Bruce Brown, I'm sure he'll spend time on him. He's another guy that's built like a fire hydrant. He's guarded. I mean, he's in the Eastern Conference the last few years. He's guarded Jimmy a ton. I'm sure he'll be on him some. But you saw down the end of the game, Jimmy Butler tends to try to get the matchups that he wants. And
he'll be seeking out Jamal Murray for sure.
Yeah. And so all those little chess matches back and forth are going to be super fun. I think basketball-wise, this is got a chance to be just an awesome series. I mean, just Jokic and Jimmy are both playing at insane levels. You've got, guys like Jamal and Bam are playing phenomenally. Lots of fun role players on both sides.
Yeah, Jokic and Jimmy are both playing absolutely awesome basketball, and they are such completely different personalities. You could not pick two more different personality types to be kind of the faces of the finals.
And you know what? They're both the same in that they, throughout these playoffs, have just been, their teams have just completely fallen in line behind them. And like you saw yesterday in game 3, right? The Lakers Jokic had struggled, foul trouble, was not on the court in the third quarter, a lot of it. Yeah. Lakers are right in the game, comes in the fourth quarter, best player on the court, blows the game open. Takes the Lakers apart.
Total role reversal from game 2 when Murray stunk for 2.5 quarters. And then obviously the fourth quarter was just unbelievable. 23 points.
He scored 53 points
over a 3-quarter span
in 3 quarters.
That's pretty good
in the playoffs.
It's pretty good.
Listen, I'm going to give the Nuggets some free advice about the Heat.
Here we go.
Having covered the Heat during the last 2 postseasons, having covered the Heat throughout the LeBron years, I'm going to give them, and this is going to be super duper valuable. This is next level analysis. Ready?
Here we go.
Win game 1.
Oh, good advice.
Because the Heat have won game 1 in 6 consecutive series. And this year, they are 3-0 on the road in game 1s.
You know who else
So-
has won game one every series this year?
That would be Denver.
You know who has
Well, those
not
games were
lost
at home. That's slightly different.
Neither
Well,
team
guess
has
where
lost
this
a
game
home
one's
game
going to
yet.
be compadre.
Yep. Neither team has lost a home game yet.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say that Ball Arena, by the way, is proving to be a heck of a home court advantage, not just because of the
Yeah.
altitude, but those fans are rabid. They are producing a great environment. I'm not sure I could have predicted that from Denver, to be honest with you. This is the place that cheered for Russell Westbrook, as you remember.
I was there.
Well, listen,
Yeah.
well, and to go back to the conversation about Boston too, and like to play the devil's advocate side of it, these two teams are also pictures of perseverance in the sense that
Yeah.
you've got coaches that have been there for a long time, that the
Mm-hmm.
organizations are invested in. You have stars that have been there for a long, Bam and Jamal, Jokic, all drafted by the teams. Obviously, Jimmy's now been there for several years.
Mhm.
Been to deep playoff runs as groups. All of these guys have played together now for multiple playoff runs. They've made smart additions over time on both sides. And that the shared experiences that those teams have throughout these several years playing together and the ups and downs that's come with that, it's what's gotten them to the point now where they are going through this stuff, and they do look so connected because they've been through 1,000 things together. And it is a reminder that if you do keep plugging away, if you have high level players like these guys, like, look, coming into these playoffs, I was the one saying Nikola Jokic had more pressure on than any player in the league to see if he could step up with his team being the number one seed. And he's taken every challenge and exceeded it by several levels.
More Hoop Collective podcast after this.
They call it running a business for a reason, because every day feels like a sprint to the finish. It takes a lot of work to make it all work. But with Clover and Merchant One, you're always a step ahead. Now is the perfect time to upgrade your point of sale technology. We make it easy to accept payments, run your entire business, and sell more. Clover plus Merchant One, better business solutions. Go to clover.com/M1 to get started. Did you know YouTube TV is more than cable for less than cable? That's right. YouTube TV has no long-term contracts or hidden fees, and it even lets you catch up to the live games with key plays. With a lineup of over 100 channels, you can watch live TV like cable. Signing up is simple. Get started in minutes, and you can watch all the action of the NBA Finals live on ABC. So what are you waiting for? Try it free today. And let me just say, as a user of YouTube TV, it's awesome when you're traveling because you can use it on your phone, and I use it all over the country every week of the year. Anyway, try it for free today at youtube.com/NBA23. New users only, terms apply, cancel anytime. Michael Malone's been the coach for 8 years. Spo's been the coach. I think he got there in 2009. So I think 14 or 15 years. I mean, this has been a journey. Spo's obviously got some titles, but this has been a journey. So it will continue.
And look, the Nuggets, like, when Jamal Murray's healthy, they're a contender.
Yeah.
It's really that simple. And like,
And
obviously,
Jamal Murray is playing like Kobe Bryant.
Jamal Murray is one of the best playoff performers in the league, period. Not just this year. He has a track record now. And like, nobody should ever utter the words Bubble Murray again, because as he has gone out
in
of
all
his way to
honesty,
make clear, he's better
their
now
game
than he was
plan-
then.
The Heat's game plan probably is going to have to focus on Murray more than anything, because I'm not sure you can deal with that impenetrable force. You're not slowing down that beast. Maybe you can mitigate him mildly. Murray is the variable.
That's the
Murray
key
is
to
the variable.
1,000%. He's the key to the series, no question. Because Jokic is incredible, and Jokic is going to do his thing. But I'm not, obviously, again, to your point earlier, man, it's not like you just have a game plan to slow down Jamal Murray, because he's sort of the polar opposite of the Celtics guys. He's never made an all-star team. He's never made an all-NBA team. But when the lights come on and the lights get brighter, this guy plays better in the playoffs, right? So like, but I think you're 100% right, Brian. He's the X factor for Denver, because when he is hitting step back shots over AD and doing all that stuff, like, that's when they go from being a really awesome team to this supernova that just doesn't lose. Like, that's what levels them up, is when he's playing like that. And their 2-man game is maybe the most fun thing to league in the watch, period. It's just awesome.
Well, it's right there with Draymond and Steph.
No, it's above it. Right now it's above it. And
Well, right
when
now
Murray's-
maybe, but Draymond
when
and
Murray's
Steph is
cooking
pretty
like this,
special.
because we've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Because Joker can dominate you in every single way you can possibly imagine on the offensive end, where Draymond is a complementary offensive player.
That's the difference. Like that's
Yeah, but I'm just talking about the way that they move off
right.
each other. in
But the
unpredictable
difference
music
to
they're
Tim's
making.
point, to Tim's point though, the difference is that you have to guard both of them everywhere. Draymond
Yeah.
Green,
Well-
you can run away from him at the 3-point line and he will stand there and make
Yeah.
incredible passes.
Draymond's a great drummer, where Joker can play that. He can do the drums, the piano, the trumpet, the guitar, whatever the hell instrument you want him to play, he
That's
can play.
Pretty impressive. That's a pretty impressive analogy. Yes, what I will say is that Draymond and Steph tend to do it in tight quarters, where they're just sort of moving around each other real tight. Murray and Jokic can do it like in the whole half court.
Mm.
You know,
Well,
Well,
it's
it
like
just feels
Malone
like they
said.
look at each other and just know what's going to happen.
yeah,
and they
the
just
give
do
and
it.
go
It's
game
unbelievable.
is hellacious.
oh, it's
And they
hellacious.
can also do it where, look, Joker can be the ball handler in the pick and roll, or Murray can.
He's
Or they can just do the dribble handoff stuff.
the dribble
or-
handoff is the dribble handoff is one of the most basic moves in basketball. And when Murray is going, his ability to catch the ball off a dribble handoff, the point of a dribble handoff is for the guy who's holding the ball to create space or to set the screen and provide the
Yeah.
pass at the same time. He is so effective at getting the ball and moving into it with that space. Like it's a mastery. So
That's where I think Bam's athleticism could maybe be a real factor if he's guarding Jokic, because then he has the ability to switch onto those guys in a way that a lot
That's
of other
true.
senators don't.
That's
that-
true.
Because again, there's no way to stop Jokic. To me, it's you got to try to limit these other guys as much as possible. And any way you can, if you can do anything to slow down those two guys, then that's a huge advantage. But obviously, that's way easier said than done.
By the way, Bobby Marks, I mentioned on last night's podcast that Jamal Murray was extension eligible this offseason. Bobby Marks got the numbers for me. 3 years, 148 was 140. I'm sorry, I just had it right here. It's $48 million a year average is what he can sign for 3 years. 3 years, 144 million is what.
Tell you
That's
what.
the most he can sign for. $48 million average.
The
I'm
Cronkies better get
offering
those
that-
games available on cable.
Yeah, but I'm offering that lickety split at the end of this season.
Yeah, I'll offer that. Maybe Rocky might have to take a pay cut, but Jamal Murray, we're keeping that dude.
Okay.
Did I tell you about Rocky flipping me the your number one sign with the middle finger?
Does he have a middle finger?
He does. I've seen it up close and personal.
Is
This
that
man, he
I'm
was
a
doing
fan.
his-
I'm a fan of Rocky now.
No, well, listen. He was doing his little, get up on the ladder way up high, reverse shots, practicing it while we were doing a little Sports Center hits. And tell you what, this man was bricking them left and right. And I informed him as he walked off the floor. I said, "You got to be better than that tonight." He did not appreciate that. He gave me the year number one. But just pretty close. I mean, he was a wee little fellow, so I kind of had to reach up with it. But I will give him credit, though. Hey, cojones factor. He came through that night, and second attempt, kissed it off the glass and in. I'd like to take a little bit of credit for motivation. I'm a better motivator than Joe Mazzola. I can tell you that right now.
But if he has a bad game one in the NBA finals, will you then, like Joe Mazzulla, come out and say that you didn't correctly motivate him and that it's on you? That's
I'm not sure I'm going to be in the building. We tend to get these things 48 hours in advance or so. We'll find out.
Okay. Well, all right. On that note, thank you.